Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is October the 17th of 2024. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin in motion. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Apex predator. Bitcoin always returns to its all-time high. Buying over crying. One day closer to an all-time high. Don't FOMO on altcoins. Hello, my elite friends. I'm offended by selling. Of course I am. Of course. 15 Bitcoin make you a millionaire today. Thanks to Deniz. Tune in, drop out, Izabella Drayven, and Cold Flow, Still Moon, like clear water. We only need 25 more dollars for the next One Bitcoin show to go live. And I still owe you that one about Whitney Webb. Don't worry, I'm thinking about that one. It's just such a pain in the tuchus to watch her speak. Oh my God, it's terrible. Okay, have fun staying doomer for all you guys out there that are doomers. Yeah, looks like it's a lot of fun. The whole world's ending. Oh, let's blame it on you know who. I just got word that Israel destroyed Sinwar. Oh, what a good news! Oh yes. And on Sukkot, a year ago on Sukkot, he decided to attack Israel. And now he's dead. So that's what happens when you're a terrorist. All right, so let's. That's what he should have been destroyed a long time ago. But okay, now. Let's just jump into this. I want people to ask questions. I originally wanted BJ Dichter on the show with me. I want to do I decided last night I want to do a show in the morning because I watched Bill Gurley and Brad Gerstner last night. They've got a good show. It's linked to below. They were talking about Elon Musk a little bit, and I was just like, let me just talk about some random topics that pertain to Bitcoin. And have BJ on, and people can ask us questions. So I want people to ask me questions. Ask some questions. Ask any questions. I don't care how you ask me questions. I'll look in the chat, do the super chat, type in Bitcoin Meister, whatever. Pound that like button, of course. So let's start off with a simple sentence. It seems simple, but it's just totally awesome. Elon Musk is, I really now believe he is the best businessman of all time. And I know he's got some haters in the space, and he's just got some haters in the world because people are just envious of the guy. He can navigate through all the bureaucracy that's out there. He can you tell him to start a random company, he'll figure it out. He'll know how to do it. Bill Gurley and Brad Gerstner are very smart guys. And they basically said that they talked to a lot of people, and it has just become evident to everyone, obvious, that Elon Musk is on a whole nother level of genius. He's just on this another plane. And the accomplishment with SpaceX, landing the rocket, in the old days, this would have been the biggest news of just the year. All they would have been talking about it all over the place. Here, you get it in some niche news sources. I guess I don't watch the mainstream media. Maybe they mentioned it. They're too busy screaming about the election and crying, because oddly enough, I said about a month ago that, Kamala was clearly ahead, and I said it on September 1st, there were all these people who were like, oh, Trump's definitely going to win. He's definitely ahead. He wasn't. Kamala was ahead. Right. And I said it would take she would have to make some pretty big mistakes. She's made some pretty big mistakes. The interview yesterday went horrible. He is ahead it's very close in the swing states now. And that's all that matters. Don't look at the national vote. It doesn't matter at all. So it's not obvious who is going to win, but he's got a much better chance than before. If things still keep going in the direction they're going, he will win, which is great for business. And these guys, I don't know if Bill Gurley is saying anything pro-Trump. I think he did. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Obviously, Elon Musk is, and he's the best businessman of all time. So he knows that, a Trump presidency, well, let's put it a different way. A Kamala Harris presidency there will be all these obstacles thrown in the way of our greatest industries in the United States of America, which are cryptocurrency, AI, and biotech type of things. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but we dominate in that. That's how this country remains rich. That's how this country is able to print as many dollars as it ever wants to because of the tech guys. And and they're very underappreciated, and they're hated upon. Social media also is one of the biggest. The United States is we've got the best companies on earth: Google, Facebook, Tesla. Now OpenAI is going to be one of them. Microsoft, Amazon, just kick the tuchluses of every company all around the world. They're headquartered here in the United States of America. There are all these people who are like, oh, we're going down the tubes. Yet we have the greatest companies of all time in our country. But no, if Kamala became president, she would do everything she could to get in their way. And, look at Elizabeth Warren. She just openly scapegoats people in cryptocurrency. And I give the guy a lot of credit running against her in the debate that was broadcast in Massachusetts. He's going to lose. Massachusetts is just they will blindly vote for a Democrat no matter what, and she's very famous. But he was calling her out in the debate. He did a really good job. The guys at Coinbase are very wealthy. Is it the guys at Coinbase that are funding him? No. Yeah, Coinbase guy is funding him. Excuse me. Brian Armstrong gave him a lot of money or something like that. I don't know. I guess he's got more money than he can blow or whatever, because I think it's kind of blowing your money on that. But whatever, he got the word across. I give the guy credit in Massachusetts for trying. And that's step one, trying against this horrible, envious woman. But let's go back to envy and Elon Musk. And so it's just become apparent now that he's on a whole nother level. And I kind of was wrong. I was wrong back in the day. I see he talked about Dogecoin. And at first he didn't exactly know what he was talking about, but the man can learn he's a quick learner, obviously, if he's the best businessman of all time. And I'm glad he's in our space. Now, he's got a lot of other very important things to do before he gets back to Dogecoin or Bitcoin, okay? He's got a lot of important things to do with the SpaceX especially comes to mind, but Twitter is more important, and he's doing so many things. It's just unbelievable. And we should just put no obstacles in these men, in these guys' ways. None at all. And Trump has sort of said that he won't. Okay? He's still targeting probably Facebook or whatever. He shouldn't do that either. It's not right to target Mark Zuckerberg. But Kamala Harris, who can't even say is she gonna put Elizabeth Warren high up in her organization? That would be very bad. That's a very bad sign. But she's an empty suit. She'll follow. I don't know who's in charge over there on the Democratic side. It's the party. It's 1984. It's seriously, dudes. Read 1984. It's the party before anything. They have a figurehead called Big Brother who doesn't even exist, and it's just for the good of the party, for the good of the party, for the good of the party. So the party has decided, what direction they're going. Anyway, the party has decided it's going against, it wants to stifle innovation for the sake of power, okay? They don't even realize the dire consequences of stifling innovation. It's the shortening of all of our, we could have such extended lifespans, better lifestyles, but it's just all about power, party power. But that's what 1984 is about, pure raw power. And okay, let's see if we got questions. Someone said, where the heck is Trace Mayer? Well, that's a question I've never heard before. No, I've heard it a billion times. Pound that like button, everybody. I'll answer that question because I did say ask any questions you want to ask. Last we heard, most people say last we heard he was on my show in Las Vegas in 2020 on what was it, February 29th of 2020 at Tone Vays' glorious unconfiscatable event. But no, that actually really isn't the last we heard of him. I soon said after that, I figured out he's probably working behind the scenes with Caitlin Long at her bank in Wyoming. And eventually something did come out about that. There was public mention of that. That was the last that we heard from him. I don't know. I'm not the man to ask. I think you should ask Caitlin Long. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's still working behind the scenes with her, or he just doesn't do anything at all. Yeah, and Lance Hoddle from the great state of Utah, pound that like button to where I am. He says Trace Mayer is obsolete at this point. Yeah, in terms of the Bitcoin space, you really shouldn't care anymore, people. Yes, so Tone Vays is here. He says that sup Meister, haha. Yeah, Tone, I just talked about you. If that's really Tone Vays, I think it really is Tone Vays. Wow, of course Tone Vays is in the house. I mean, he's my personal friend. We don't get to talk as much anymore. There's so much going on in the world. But yeah, that's the OG of OGs, man. Tone Vays can tell you stories about a dude who used to talk about the Schmitta. Does everybody remember Schmitta, dude, down where in Mexico is Mr. Schmitta from? He used to be somebody that people put on a pedestal. I'm still not going to say his name because I have such disrespect for the guy down in Cancun, Mexico, who's originally from, I believe he's originally from Edmonton. Yes, the guy between Anarchapulco. Yeah. Who would say anything. He would say that Bcash is good. I mean, he would and people always forgot. People don't ask me about that guy anymore. I don't know what happened to him. He had an alcohol problem of some sort. I don't know. But it just shows you that these people come and go that are not good for the space. But the good people do stick around. Tone Vays has no reason to go hide and go disappear. None at all. Well, I mean, his own personal safety. I mean, that would be the only reason for me to also go. But who cares about our personal safety? It doesn't matter. But no, we don't get. I don't get any. Anyway, you know what I mean. No cowardly ways to disappear or anything like that because we were wrong about something or whatever. If we're wrong about something, we say we're wrong about something or whatever. I respect the guys that have stuck around all this time and just stayed the same people. I mean, Tone is still Tone. He'll use the word scam. It's sometimes in ways that I don't approve of, but he does what he does. No one can stop him. No one can stop me either. And the reason no one, again, this is one of the great reasons that people should get Bitcoin, because when they work for themselves and they have Bitcoin, no one can take away their wealth. No one can silence them. No one can cancel them. So, I've got plenty of Bitcoin where nothing can affect me anymore. No, nothing. So a little bit of some history lessons for you. And it's, I do ask anybody in the chat if they know who I'm talking about. So yeah, in 2016, which is it's funny, the Hebrew calendar is exactly like it was in 2016 this year. Like everything that I remember what I was doing on October the 16th of 2016, because I know a lot of people that are born that day. And it was Erev Sukkot, and this year was also Erev Sukkot. And I was actually in Brooklyn with an ex-girlfriend of mine. She was my ex-girlfriend then, but and it was the first time I ever went to 770 on Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn, which is the Chabad headquarters. For all of you interested, and one of the rabbis there said I was, he said that there was going to be great, something about economic success or something for me. It was kind of nebulous what he said, but I will say that ever since that day, I soon visited South Africa after that, my second visit to South Africa. But for whatever reasons, and also it just so happened the Bitcoin cycle, it was around $600 then. And that was the end of 2016. So it was only up from there. So you could say it was coincidentally, my wealth has only increased since that day that I went to 770 in Brooklyn. I've only had great economic success for 8 years straight. I mean, 8 years straight, I've become wealthier and wealthier and wealthier as time going. Anyone who would have owned a substantial amount of Bitcoin starting that day, but whatever. And also my ex-girlfriend at the time prayed. She's not Jewish, but she started crying in the Chabad headquarters because she started thinking about how she wanted to have a baby, and she wasn't able to reproduce with the man she was with at the time. And she started crying. I think I've told this story before. And she told me later. We were separated because they wanted me to go pray downstairs, and she's a woman, and the men and the women can't pray, and she's not even Jewish. So they just let her sit upstairs, and she saw me below praying. But this is such a tangent. This is a New York story for a New York guy. Brooklyn. He's from Staten Island. I'm telling you a Brooklyn story. Tone is from Staten Island, which is the very most interesting of all the and least known of all the boroughs of New York. Anyway, my ex-girlfriend, she's been my ex-girlfriend for many, many years, just a friend of mine now. She started crying, and she doesn't pray. She's not Jewish, but she started thinking about, how she wanted to have a baby. And it actually is she didn't know it, but it's very similar to a story in the Bible when a barren woman goes to the temple and she prays to have a baby, and she actually says, if I have a son, he'll be dedicated to the temple or something like that. Look it up. I forgot the exact names. Hannah, I think it might have been. I don't know. But this will, for all you guys who like to believe in certain things and everything like that. 2 years later, on Erev Sukkot, she had a baby. All right, pound that like button. All right, after praying on Erev Sukkot. So all the Chabad guys will say, "Oh yes, of course, I know the reason why." Now, so we move on to someone lives in Acapulco here. I'm not dissing Acapulco. I'm just I'm dissing the guy who was like, "Whoa!" The guy who said that the Schmitta in 2016 was going to happen, that the whole world was going to change. There was going to be this thing called Schmitta. He doesn't know the first thing about the Old Testament. All he did was pick a fancy old, and that's why I started talking about the Bible there and everything. He picked a fancy Old Testament word called Schmitta, and he gave his own interpretation of it. He said it was going to happen, and all these world leaders were planning all this stuff. The whole world was going to get knocked off its kilter in October or September of 2016. He was totally wrong. Nothing like that happened. The world went on. The world did not end. There was no Schmitta. And everyone forgave him and forgot the whole situation. And because people in the 80%ers have the memories of goldfish. Okay, there's so many people like it. They're just like Max Kaiser. Max Kaiser said it was, friends with altcoins back in the day. Oh, it's all forgotten. And now he's the biggest, he's like fascistic in terms of Bitcoin. He wants to destroy. If you're not Bitcoin, you're gone. He's just as reliable. Max Kaiser, I have less respect for Max Kaiser than I do for the guy in Acapulco, obviously, even less. Because Max Kaiser's actually, he stuck around and, he's going crazier and crazier and crazier. He hates America so much, and I won't even get into the rest of it. Oh, now BJ Dichter is here. BJ Dichter is here. I could have BJ Atone here on my show right now. That would be an awesome freaking show, and you could ask us a million freaking questions. No, BJ is about to speak in Boston, I believe, and one of the things I want to, and he says Chag Sameach, and yes, Chag Sameach to everybody. I hope you're eating in your sukkah, everybody. I will drink some water in a sukkah in the next few days. And on Shemini Atzeret, which is the year anniversary of when these animals, these monstrous animals, savages, tried to, when they attacked Israel, that is the year anniversary. They attack on a holiday. You're not allowed to attack on Ramadan because we're civilized. And then every darn time they attack on a holiday. So God willing, on Shemini Atzeret this year, Iran's nuclear power plants are destroyed. God willing, that would be the greatest year. We talk about coincidences that happen on certain things 2 years apart or whatever. It'd be a great coincidence on Shemini Atzeret this year, which I have to. We light the candle, the Yortzeit candle for our loved ones who have died. My father of blessed memory, and we go pray Yizkor on what day? Shemini Atzeret is the 24th this year, which is actually the birth date of another ex-girlfriend of mine, coincidentally. So hopefully on the 24th, Iran would be ready, obviously, if that they know it's Shemini Atzeret that day, so they would be on high alert. But God willing, between now and Shemini Atzeret, Iran's nuclear power plants are fine. Nuclear power facilities, where they build the nukes, are finally destroyed, because that's the real problem here. All right, so but that we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going back to Bitcoin. Oh my God! UK Bitcoin Master said the name of the person. UK Bitcoin Master. I should get him on the show right now. Actually, no, he's very busy. He's doing a show in 2 hours exactly. So watch his show. Okay. So we've had and again play this at 2x, people. I've really had some nice rambling on. But people like memories. People like to hear these memories. So we will continue. So yeah, Elon Musk is so beloved. And what I was wrong about him, I didn't, people talk about intrinsic value of things. And I don't believe in that at all. Value is totally subjective. Because Elon is doing what every businessman should be doing, be proud, be loud, and fight against the people who are trying to destroy you. Don't support them. Don't fund Elizabeth Warren. Go against her. Talk against Kamala. Don't fund. Now, again, a lot of businessmen have realized, like, I can't fund these Democrats anymore. They're trying to kill me. They kill my business. This is the, no more sanction of the victim here. You're not going to, the people being attacked are the ones who fund these people. Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman is this big fat millionaire, close to billionaire, I don't know, in Silicon Valley. He created LinkedIn, which kind of sucks, but it was original, whatever. And he funds these people who really steal from him. They steal from him, but he's self-hating and he's not very healthy or whatever. But that's how most people are. They're self-hating and they feel guilty for being successful. No, you should be proud. You should be proud, like Elon Musk. This is why he's a great example. But he also does everything better than everybody else. And it's great to hear these other smart guys just admit it. They are not. They don't believe in wealth inequality. They're not jealous of Elon. They're freaking billionaires, and they think he should be a trillionaire. They don't have a problem if he became a trillionaire or whatever. That's the way to do it. So back in the day, I thought Dogecoin's a joke. Dogecoin is a joke in a sense. But if he really put some time behind it, Elon Musk, first of all these people would find value in Dogecoin just because he got, and we've seen that happen a few different times. Okay. All Dogecoin is Litecoin, is a joke fork of Litecoin. That's all it is. But it does micropayments. Elon Musk is smart enough to figure out a way to incorporate micropayments into the Twitter platform, making Dogecoin that payment method. And yes, he would increase the price of Dogecoin for a real reason. And he could do it. Again, I think it's a joke. I think Dogecoin is a joke for now. And he jokes about it. He doesn't have time for it now. But if he put his time behind it, because he is the best businessman in the world, and you're going to say, oh, it's central, then he's going to centralize it. Yes, he is. Obviously, it would be centralized in some way around him. It'd be dependent on him. It'd be dependent on his business totally, on Twitter. But he could figure out a way, and he would make Dogecoin not a joke. He could do it. He's the best businessman of all time, period. That's how it relates to this space. And if he did that, it would help Bitcoin too. If he made, now I would much prefer if he made Bitcoin the base of his operations of Twitter or whatever, or of Tesla. I wish I could buy a Tesla with Bitcoin like you originally could, and then you can't, and whatever. Okay, the only car I could buy with a Bitcoin is a Ferrari, and there is a Ferrari dealership here. But I like my Nissan Versa for now. Eventually, I'm going to have some nieces that are going to be 16, and I want to give it to them, maybe. But my siblings probably won't let me because they're, it's not safe. By then, it won't be safe or whatever. Anyway, so yeah. But hopefully by then, it won't just be a Ferrari I can buy. And yes, of course, I can buy a Ferrari. I can buy UK Bitcoin Master Ferrari, Mia Ferrari, Tona Ferrari, a bunch of people, and it wouldn't even matter at this point. Okay, Pound That Like. So. Let's go. And I do want to say, because in my head, there is something, I do understand why there are a lot of old timers that don't get, virtual currency. They have to physically hold something. And then there is something about humanity. I was running through the new Trader Joe's parking lot in Salt Lake City. There's a new Trader Joe's because Salt Lake City is actually a growing city where there's, wealthier people constantly. It's in a yuppie area. I live in Sugar House. So they built up, there's a Whole Foods here. There's a Natural Grocers here. And now they have a Trader Joe's here, of course, because it's a growing area with rich people and et cetera, et cetera. It's great. And it's safe. And, there's some bums that come out of the woods sometimes. That's not cool. But we've got a liberal mayor here. But so I'm running. Obviously, this is why you stay in motion. You go running. It's very healthy for you to go running. And also you can become wealthier if you go running. So I'm running through the Trader Joe's parking lot. All of a sudden I see on the ground, $7. Is a $5 and $2. I just pick it up in the middle of running. and I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I found $7. So I mean, I was just like made my day. It made my morning. I mean, it made me run faster. I'm like, I found $7. I'm so happy because I could physically feel it. There have been times, that there's certain days I in my Bitcoin portfolio is worth $1 million less. It's worth $1 million more, and there's no emotion ever. I don't care. There have been weeks where I've lost in my Bitcoin millions of dollars. It doesn't affect me at all. Not at all. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm not anything. Because I know that Bitcoin's always going to return it. It's always going to go higher. I mean, I was so joyous that I found $7 on the ground. Now, I think this might be a mental problem of mine too. So I'm willing to admit it. I'm willing to admit that I probably should see a shrink about it. I'm not seeing it, but talk it out a little bit more. I have a problem, obviously, spending money. I have a problem. I can't spend money. I'm very, very rich. I can't spend money. I love that I live in this building that I live in. I live in the worst apartment, the cheapest of the rent, the cheapest one. I live in a studio. All the others are bigger. All the other there's a couple other studios on this floor or whatever. But I love it. I love it. I just love it that I'm saving money. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, again, I still haven't had to sell any of my Bitcoin. So that's like a moment of that's, I guess, my legitimate excuse. Like, oh, well, yeah. And also, I have everything I want. I get to go to Baltimore when I want to. I get all this nice food and healthy stuff. And I have this nice expensive watch. And I do pay for my health and everything like that. And this watch, again, the Garmin watch, I can't. It just monitors your health so much. HRV is a statistic that everybody should learn about, and this measures it well. I've become obsessed with it. I mean, I always go to sleep before 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, around 10 o'clock, whatever. And I got to, I was just home in Baltimore when I was home for Rosh Hashanah. For my grandmother's yurt site, which is a blessed memory of my grandmother. No, it was great playing with my nephew and I were throwing the ball. I mean, what else can you get, man? It's awesome. And I gave him my baseball cards that I saved all these baseball cards all these years ago. And I'm like, what the heck? What's the point of having this in the boxes in my old room? So I just gave it all to my nephew, all of it to him. And he appreciates it and stuff like that. So yeah, I got everything I want. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So it is strange that I get pleasure out of finding $7 on the ground. So I'm still happy about finding the $7 on the ground. It's so weird compared to. So I admit that when I have a mental problem, I admit that we all have mental peculiar things about us. But yet we've got this whole class of people out there that want to have mental problems. And they can't admit that when they want to cut off their certain body parts, they are mentally ill. That is a problem. That is a problem. When you think you're something that you're not, that's a real serious problem. But no, we can't. You can't say that anymore. You can't say, you have to encourage your children to want to do things that are mentally insane, that are much worse than getting pleasure out of finding $7 on the ground when you're a freaking Bitcoin millionaire. But one of the cool things also about that is that that I legitimately get pleasure from finding $7 on the ground when I'm running in tattered clothing and stuff, in my dirty running pants and everything. No one I can talk about Bitcoin with people and they might actually know what it is. They don't believe that I have a lot. They don't believe that I have Bitcoin. I mean, I'm sure there's many of you watching this right now. Probably it's all, who knows what he's talking about. I'm glad you like it here enough to make it a home. Hopefully we can meet up sometime to talk in person. Dude, you got to come to the Salt Lake, to the meetup. The next meetup, the Salt Lake City meetup is on November, the first Wednesday in November. I'll be there. Reed is tied to some very dark things. Now, this is good. And, this is why I wanted BJ Dichter on the show, because he calls out the funding that Qatar does of certain organizations, okay? Now, I don't know if he's referring to that, if Reed gets Qatar funding. I'm not going to say that. But so what I don't bring that up very much, with these organizations that get the Qatar funding, because Qatar is that they fund very many bad, horrible things. The Muslim Brotherhood and stuff is intertwined with that. That's like a terrorist organization. And so I wish we lived in a rational world where people were like, that's bad. But what we live in is that people try to make these just gigantic, tremendous conspiracies, and then it almost looks like a parallel of well, some Jewish person funds this. So it's all part of this gigantic Israeli conspiracy. And I just don't want to go down that route. I want to, take specific instances and say why it's bad for Qatar to fund this horrible organization. Okay, I don't like these. That there's a giant Qatar conspiracy out there, whatever. We live in this time of very simple answers where these simplistic people are like blaming everything on Israel, and I don't want to blame everything on Qatar because it's not all Qatar's fault. Okay, there are individuals out there that are savages, that have cultures that are horrifying, that want to destroy the West, that believe in a religion that they can interpret it in a way that all other religions must submit to them, and that it's all right to go kill and maim and do all these horrible things to innocent civilians or whatever you want to, that no other religion can control a country or be in a country, in a state that's near you. Okay, these are ludicrous beliefs that can easily be understood by civilized people without getting into in-depth, getting into the depths of the funding of this, that, and the other. Now, if your politician is being funded by a pro-Israeli group, a pro-Muslim group, a pro-whatever group, a pro-cigarette group, then you decide on your own, does this make my leader bad? Does this make me, or does he need funds to run his campaign and he's just getting it from these people? Does he really believe in what these people are saying? What are these people really? You got to take it on a case-by-case basis. But we got these people that think they're geniuses. They're like, AIPAC gives a lot of money to people. Yeah, it does. There are a lot of there's a lot of organizations in this country that try to influence politicians with money. That is lobbying. The lobbying industry is huge. You make a decision. Or do you want your politicians to control your own life? Do you want these politicians that take money from all sorts of organizations to control your life? Or do you want to live in a more, free society where you don't have to deal with them, where it doesn't matter? Now, most of us just get, the government doesn't control everything we do. Like 50% of the nation, yeah, they do rely on government checks and stuff. So for them, they've got to decide, like, okay, I'm getting this government check. It's going to keep them coming. So do I care who's funding these people? I mean, that's your. It's so some of these things are. The world is not a pretty place or whatever. It's not like, oh, everyone's so clean and no one takes any money and money doesn't influence people. And money doesn't change people's mind, because money can change people's mind. It can get some louder people talking about some things that they never would have heard of otherwise. Now, I don't like AIPAC at all, by the way. I think they're anti-Israel in many ways. They spout the traditional Jewish Democratic Party line. That's all they are. Traditional Jewish Democrats who are, sort of like self-hating Jews, basically. Because Israel does not need the funding of the United States of America. What a true pro-Israel organization be like? No, stop funding Israel. Let them do what they have to do. And don't restrict their technology. Don't restrict it. They're the free country that's out there. Let them do what they're going to do. And they will be safe. They will thrive. They don't need a check from the United States. They let them make their own weapons, because some of these agreements that Israel has, they have to buy certain weapons. They can't make their own weapons, this weapon, that weapon. They can't make. There's all these restrictions. It's not just like they're giving. It's not like they're just giving a blank check to Israel. It's no blank check. But we've gone off on a tangent there on the Israel thing here. And again, people, remember, one of the best things you can do for Israel. Here's a little hat tip here. If you're going to get into these ridiculous arguments with these college students who don't know they don't know the Mediterranean Sea, they don't know the Jordan River, they don't know anything. Okay, they don't know about they've never been to Israel. There's certain terms that are used. I'm not even going to use the term that's used in the mainstream media for Judea and Samaria. All right, Judea and Samaria are along the Jordan River, a certain bank of the Jordan River, I guess, and just call it Judea and Samaria. Okay, that's the one little thing you can do if you ever go there. And thank God for the Bitcoin guy who, when I was in Israel in 2019, at the beginning of 2019, mourning my glorious father's death, who had only died, in November, And my grandmother almost died the day I visited the guy. It was unbelievable. It was a miracle. She did not die in the hospital. It was great. The one day I was in Judea and Samaria, this Bitcoin guy took me on a tour of Judea. It was beautiful. Beautiful. A great guy. He lives right near the city of Shechem. Shechem is the Arabs are allowed to control Shechem. Shechem is obviously has a Hebrew name. They call it by another name. They call it Nablus, actually. So it's just, that's obviously the Roman name for it or whatever. But it's really called Shechem. And they get to do the Arab. No Jews are allowed in Shechem. There's a big sign out there. No Israelis allowed. Any huge art sign. You can't miss it. Yet some Germans got stuck in there, and they started trying to kill the Germans that visited Shechem once. Luckily for the German tourists, they didn't get killed. But for all these people that are talking about Israel, they do horrible things out there. They let them. These people have their own city in Shechem. They can't do anything productive. If you go to their city, they kill you. It's unbelievable. How envious they are. Settler violence. They say these are not these settler violence. These are citizens of Israel that live in Judea and Samaria. They are citizens of it. You drive in Judea and Samaria, as I have. All the roads are built by Israel. You see in some donkey carts, some dudes that are still living like it's the 18th century. These nomadic Arabs still living. They can't fix themselves. I don't know what the problem is. Envious stuff. So it's a cult. It's fine if you want to embrace a culture of the 1800s or the 700s, the 900s, long ago. That's fine as long as you don't try to kill people. But what's going on? They try to kill people. Again, you're driving along in Judea and Samaria on these beautiful roads, modern infrastructure. And you see these shanty businesses that are there. And sometimes the guy told me he's driving me. He's like, yeah, sometimes they throw rocks at us. I'm like, this is unbelievable. You are forced to put up with this stuff. It's amazing that the Israeli guy they let this happen. Can you imagine you're just driving on a country road here in Utah, and the Mormons start throwing rocks at you? Well, would that be acceptable? Would that be normal? Oh, they're just Mormons or whatever. No, Mormons are awesome people, by the way. But just because they're a little different than you, it's all right. I should hate myself and let them throw rocks at me because they're living in some backward culture. That again, the Mormons aren't backward or anything like that. But let's pretend they were backward or something like that. You wouldn't put up with it. Okay, now so we got some questions here. You're making me okay. So they're talking amongst each other. All right, so. Yes, and it is an adventure. And in Israel, my God, I've gone off on a tangent. Israel, they really do love Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Tel Aviv embassy, oh my God, such a great place. The guy in charge of that, he did very well early on in Bitcoin. He creates a Bitcoin embassy right near the Tel Aviv stock market. That's no cheap location he has there. He's a great guy too. And that's where I've met Udi in person, another legend, a very nice man in person. Udi, everybody knows him. Okay, now, so. And Tone, safe flight. He's about to go. He's headed to the airport, baby. Which airport is he headed to? I hope it's not JFK, one of the worst airports in the United States of America history. All right, so let us move on. And by the way, the airport here in Salt Lake City, a great airport. Great. Everything about here is great. Salt Lake City is. Everybody should be moving here. All the Jewish people should be moving here. The Mormons are have the great culture. This is a great culture. They've established this great culture. They let the liberals can move here and just totally make fun of the Mormons, which is disgusting. But no, they do. The Mormons established the culture here in Salt Lake City. Then some leftists move here. They totally rip on the Mormons or envious of the Mormons. Some of them might have used to been Mormons too, which is fine. And the Mormons they're quiet about it. They're good. The Mormons just they compete. They don't complain. They get richer and richer and richer. I love the Mormons. The Jews and the Mormons should all be friends and hug each other and love each other and do business together. And I love them. Love them. All right. And so someone says Dogecoin has infinite inflation over time. Yeah. And it takes 23 confirmations to achieve the same security level as Bitcoin. Yep, I agree, which has deflation over time. There is no second best. No, there is no second best. But I'm saying if Elon Musk took charge of it, it would do very well. It would be fourth best, probably. Or it could be as high as third best. It could overtake Solana. Yeah, he's that good. I can't doubt him. It could overtake Solana. Yeah. He's that good of a businessman. But again, he's got better things to deal with right now. Okay, so we went off on I don't even remember why we went off on this Israel tangent or whatever. Oh yeah, Shemini Atzeret. So yeah, that's only the 24th is Shemini Atzeret. All right, and so few people know that October 7th was an attack on a Jewish holiday, on Shemini Atzeret. In Israel, it's Simchas Torah still. It's Simchas Torah on it, but here in the United States, it's the same thing basically. I'm not going to get into detail. And I'm saying it with the S, Simchat Torah, Shemini Atzeret, but I say it in the, I prefer saying it with the T, not the S, but it's just, I think of my dad saying it. He said it with the S. All right, so he learned Hebrew that way. And that's how most people learned Hebrew, to predict the suf, they call it. It's really a tough, but they pronounce suf. Okay, it's a letter pronounced differently between depends what all the Chabad guys pronounce it with an S. I don't. I'm just trying to look for the where we are. So Bill Gurley, Brad, and by the way, Bill Gurley and Brad Gerstner, it's just like the All In podcast. It's called like BG Squared, I think. It's a good podcast. No politics. It's like all tech. At least the version I heard of it. Really good, really good. And they've got good guests. I want to talk about Mr. Beast, Mindless Society. Mr. Beast is the biggest guy on YouTube, apparently. I never watched one of his shows. I still haven't. I've seen clips of them. He gets people, he just does more and more mindless, outrageous things. And this is what people like. This is the 80% of the world. People that don't, I know most of you don't watch Mr. Beast. I hope you don't. But it's just the example of the most popular thing on YouTube. It's just outrageous, mindless, semi-dangerous stuff, and like stuff I did when I was drunk when I was like 19 years old. I mean, it reminds me of like getting drunk and putting one of those clips on your septum here, and you start like crying and stuff because you're in so much pain, but you're drunk. I mean, that's the kind of thing that this dude's channel is like. But yeah. Anyway, so that's what's popular. It saddens me because that sounds like more of like a TikTok thing, which I guess TikTok's become. It just does that in outrage. Don't be an 80%er, people. Pound that like button if you actually know who Bill Gurley and Brad Gerstner are, and you've watched the All In podcast. You're in much better shape, and you respect Elon Musk. You're not envious of him. Wow, you're going to do well. I mean, you have the ability to do so well when most people are like, they know who Mr. Beast is and they know all the crazy things he's done, which I don't even know. Okay, so we talked about Liz Warren. And so Bitcoin price cycle. Sure enough, it's very much. I was talking about 2016. We're at the end of the year. It's going up. Going up and returning to its all-time high. It's all so yeah, we'll return to the all-time high. We'll get to 73,000 in December, January, maybe in November. I don't know. It doesn't really matter when you look back at it. If it happens in November, December, or January, maybe it does when you're running low on fiat, and But I'm still running very low on fiat. But I did figure out another way to tap another credit card of mine to get a little bit more. I don't know how long that's going to last for. But I did figure something out when I was back in Baltimore. I actually, right before I got back to Baltimore, I figured out something. And yeah, the Orioles lost disgracefully. It was disgraceful. The second half of the season was disgraceful. They took it into the playoffs. They were a disgrace, and it's sad. It's sad. It's been 41 years since they won the World Series now, and I almost want to vomit that the World Series could be a Subway World Series. God willing, it is not. God, please. I know it doesn't matter much what happens in baseball and everything, but it sickens me. I want to vomit if it was going to be the Yankees against the Mets. I want to vomit just that the Yankees might do it. And I don't like Cleveland either at all. Obviously, I don't like them either. I don't want to say I like the Dodgers either, but of the 4 teams left, I want the Dodgers to win the World Series. They're the best team. They should win the World Series. They got the best player. But no, it's sad. The Orioles, they lost their power. They lost their hitting the second half. Something happened, and it went into it carried on into the playoffs, and it's unfortunate they couldn't get a clutch hit. They've got a lot of talent. They'll be back next year. That's the good thing. But it was the first half of the season was great. Second half was not good, and the injuries were bad. But everybody had injuries, and so yeah, I like this. I went to the Utah Hockey Club. Their first they had a party outside of the first game ever. What was that on the Tuesday the 8th? That was on. It was a lot of fun. The party outside. I got a couple freebies, some stickers or whatever, and I tweeted about this. I asked the Skybox guys if they accepted Bitcoin. They said they don't do it yet, but don't get your hopes up. They didn't seem that organized per se in terms of their marketing, and I discussed some marketing things that they could do, and they didn't seem that interested. I think they're going to just try to, sell the Skyboxes to the guys, the corporations who buy the Jazz games, because it's the same organization. They're taking their time. I give them. I'm not going to question them because they've got a good boss over there, Smith or whatever his name is. Is that his name? But anyway, they're taking their time with the marketing, and they're just this first year they're not going all in. Like, I think you'll be able to get some good deals if you want to go see some NHL hockey here in Utah, because they're not really even marketing it that much, and they haven't picked the name yet. Hopefully, it's Yeti. I love that name, Utah Yeti. Oh, my nephew, he loves that name. Even though he's in Baltimore, he's a kid. So kids, it's good to have kids love the name. I know it's a little silly, the name, but it works. Utah Yeti. I think it's funny. All right. What else do we have here? No, that's it. Oh, Cold Fusion, Cold Flow, Still Moon said, I used to watch This Week in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin group every week in 2017. And of course, the One Bitcoin show daily. I thought I was late back then. Everybody always thinks they're late and they're always wrong. And that's a really good point. I remember when I thought I was not early in 2013. I thought, there have been these guys around since 2011. I'm just a rookie, man. I'm just a rookie. And I didn't think I was late. I just didn't think I was early. But I was really, really early. It's 11 years ago. It'll be 11 years in November that I bought my first 2 Bitcoin. And yeah, I know what I forgot to talk about. Was I jumped around here so much. I had a fun time, guys. Thank you. NotebookLM. NotebookLM is an amazing technology in terms of artificial intelligence, and it just shows what a golden. You've got to be able to use artificial intelligence tools, and I still hadn't really tried out. I tried ChatGPT, but I hadn't really used one yet. And so I put my, I walked the walk besides talking the talk. I tried out this NotebookLM, and I just recommend if you have Google, if you've got a YouTube account, a Google account, whatever, you can use it. It's free for now. It makes a podcast out of your notes. It'll make a podcast out of your video. It'll make a podcast out of a lot of things, of a woman and a man talking. And so I played around with it, and I took some crazy notes of mine that are very messy, that are about a bunch of, that are about my philosophy, my confident decentralist philosophy, and my, some of like the 8 or 9 major planks that I believe in, no scapegoating, seeing things through a cultural lens. And I fed it, and it made a pretty good. Now, the podcast wasn't perfect toward the end. It said something about, not equality. What's that other horrible word that they use? Equity. I'm not an equity guy. Okay. I'm not one of those dudes, but they somehow mixed equity into it. And, so I uploaded the podcast onto this channel that they did. It's not human beings. It's the AI. And it's entertaining. It gives some insight into my philosophy. It actually does. It does a good job. I find it does a much better job of summing up things that you've written, no matter how messy and unorganized they are, than if you feed one of your old YouTube videos into it. So I fed some of my old YouTube videos into it. All you do is you type in you guys can do it. I said on Twitter, and I'll say this right now, you guys can take anything that I ever done on YouTube and make a podcast out of it on this NotebookLM and post it. I don't care. Take any. Just give me link below to the original thing and say it's Adam Meister and link to my original video. But anyone, I give permission to anyone out there to use anything that I put out there and feed it into this NotebookLM and make your own podcast out of it. So some of you have watched it. Some of you, I mean, there's no video, so no one people just like to see my face and everything like that, which I think is ridiculous. But so it's just audio podcast. And you decide for yourself. It's not a human being. It's an amazing golden age that we're living in. So especially if you have kids, teach them how to send the Bitcoin. Teach them how to just use some AI software like this. It's just progressing so fast. So for all those politicians in California who want to regulate AI, I can't. I don't want to say what I want to think should happen to those people. They're horrible. They're haters. And we are the United States is so far ahead in this. It is so great. And it's all because of privately funded companies. It's all. And from what I hear, even though Elon Musk, they call it XAI, he's got an AI also, even though it's sort of way behind right now, because he's so fast. He can deal with governments. He can build the data centers, and maybe he'll get a nuclear power plant. I don't know. He knows how to navigate all this stuff. Watch out for that one. He might have the best AI model eventually. Okay. Right now, I don't know who's ahead. I don't know. Maybe Google or Facebook is Meta or Google. I don't know. Or OpenAI. They seem to be the ones. But Elon Musk with his XAI, they might win this game, baby. Who knows? It's really exciting times and everything. Now, again, I don't invest in companies. I'll play with their freaking products and I'll buy freaking Bitcoin. Pound that like button. You're not getting investor advice here because I'm not one of those guys. All these people still talking about how they want to buy, MicroStrategy. And they're putting, Vinny Lingham. I retweeted a tweet. It was kind of he's saying that he thinks that MicroStrategy will do more harm over time to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency than FTX. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. But what I do agree with him on is that it has the potential to. Because everyone has pedestaled them so much, just like they pedestaled Roger Ver so much. He is the new Bitcoin Jesus, and MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor, who did just such a great thing by buying Bitcoin in 2020, people have made him. That's the problem with their people pedestal people too much. So when they might do something that is considered anti-Bitcoin, they're going to have a bunch of people on their side. It's going to create division. It's going to create war. And the comparison that I made is that when Roger Ver went rogue in 2016, 2017, it was worse than the bit. What was it? The bit. I don't even remember the name of the exchange anymore. Bittrex, the one that Big Vern was behind. Was it Bittrex? Completely. But everybody thought, when the initial rug pull happened with Cripsy. I get them all confused. No one even knows what these old exchanges I'm talking about from 2016. Not hardly any of you know what I'm talking about. But Cripsy did a rug pull. All of a sudden, people had their altcoins and Bitcoin stored at Cripsy, and the guy disappears with everybody's money. And that was bad in 2016. But it was soon, and people thought, "Oh, this is bad. Another hack. It's horrible. It's horrible." Just like with FTX, it was horrible. It was horrible. There was stealing. There was this. There was that. There was the other. But Sam Bankman-Fried was not the Jesus of Bitcoin. Okay. When Roger Ver started talking bad about Bitcoin and started promoting Bcash that was a much bit hard because it didn't end. He had people behind him. The hack, it ends. Someone doing what Sam Bankman-Fried did with FTX, it ends. It's over. That's it. It's gone. There's no more arguing about it. It's over. That's it. He doesn't have friends. He doesn't have fans. Big Vern doesn't have fans. Roger Ver, he's going to have people on his side. God forbid, Michael Saylor does something totally insane. He's going to have people on his side. There's going to be a split. It's when it's a person, it's bigger to the psychology. And I believe in the psychology of money. I believe in the psychology of Bitcoin. Because there's no such thing as value. Of intrinsic value, excuse me. It's all based upon what people think. And some people have value on NFT. Some people have a lot of value. They put a lot of value in Elon Musk. They put a lot of value into Michael Saylor. They put a lot of value into Roger Ver. So when suddenly you're like, there's no more value in this guy, or I totally hate this guy, either you just continue to follow him, you blindly follow him. Oh my God, talking about blindly following. There's still people that think Victoshi is Satoshi. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Okay, on that note, I want to leave you with that note that there are some people, 10% of the people in this space, in the entire cryptocurrency space, they want an authoritarian leader, period. They want a Mussolini. They want, I would say the guy that starts with his name with an H, they probably would want that too. It doesn't matter. They still are behind Craig Wright no matter what. False Messiah. They believe in the false Messiah until the end. The guys that would Shabati Zvi or whatever, they kept on making up excuses. Even though he converted to Islam, he was still the Messiah. I mean, it's insanity. It's the same thing. There's just a certain. It's scary that just love authoritarianism so much. They must have a leader, a Messiah leader, so much that even when the Messiah is proven wrong, they just love the authoritarianism. They need someone to make decisions for them. They need a hero. They're not their own heroes. They're not their own men. They have to live vicariously through people. We have many people. 10% of the people in this space are like that. It's sickening. And so we will always have these authoritarian people that will be able to do very well in the cryptocurrency space. That's just the way it is. That's the way life is. It's kind of sad, but maybe kind of scary or whatever. Okay, so let me just see if there were any more questions here, because this has been really fun, and I'm glad I did this. It was a classic Adam Meister show because I started talking about some pretty random beyond Bitcoin stuff there. And UK Bitcoin Master's got to go because he's got to do a show in 90 minutes, so watch his show. And yeah, Sinwar has been eliminated. Thank God. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. It's so great. He got what he deserved. I mean, there's justice. We believe in justice. Now, there's justice and then there's revenge, okay? There's a lot of people out there, because of horrible things that happened in the 1860s, they want revenge on all these people that have nothing to do with what happened in the 1860s. Justice is when you do something bad and you get destroyed, okay? You. It's you. Your granddaddy did something bad. Now I gotta steal all your money. That's revenge. That's disgusting. That's not good. But if you did something horrible, you deserve what you freaking get. That is just, and when you get it, that is justice. Now, so then, we get discussions about all sorts of things. The line between revenge and justice, and reparations. Have the people that were enslaved in America, have they gotten justice? Have the people that were enslaved in America, have they received justice? And what will it take to get justice? Not to get revenge. What will it take to get justice for people whose ancestors were slaves in the United States of America? Very interesting question. But what we should, and some people will say they already got justice, but they're treated equally in law. I mean, the people that were slaves, they're never going to get their justice. That is sad. They don't get their justice at all. They died. They died slaves. That wasn't right. That wasn't right. But after 200 years, you can't get the perpetrators cannot be punished anymore. How about that? Okay, the victims cannot get justice. The descendants of the victims can get some form of justice, but they should not be trying to aim for freaking bloodthirsty revenge or something like that. Revenge is bad. All right, let's see if there are any other things out there. And I do think that some people who really believe in justice believe in it so much sometimes that they start getting revengeful. You got to be careful with that. And there are no other questions out there. Okay, so pound that like button, people. Spread the word. Please retweet this. Follow me on Twitter, TECHBALT. Hopefully we'll get BJ, and I'm glad Benjamin showed up today. I'm really, it's an honor always when Tone shows up and UK Bitcoin Master, all these people that make content out there and have been doing it for some time. It's really awesome. So hopefully you guys didn't ask enough. I want more questions. Prepare for a future where you can ask Benjamin and me any sorts of questions you want to about Israel, but he's going to have a little bit different take on the whole Qatar situation, okay, and the Muslim Brotherhood. He's going to, not a different take, but he's takes it to a whole new level. But I don't like those organizations, obviously. All right, and he's Canadian, I'm American, and yeah, very interesting stuff. I guess he likes the Blue Jays. I like the Orioles. Pound that like button, 1983 world champions. One more year. Wait till next year, baby. I say it every year, and baby, that's long-term thinking there. That's long-term thinking. It'll happen one day. Bitcoin returns to its all-time high. The Orioles will return to be the rightful champions of the world. Pound that like button, baby.